All right, we are live. Just her. Quit.
Hey, it's mommy. You want me to turn? You want me to turn on the other Wi-Fi?
Yeah, it should be all right.
Are you on?
Yeah, we're good. We're alive and kicking. That's if anybody else is alive and kicking back in the free world. I'll sell you both. I'm going to sell these doggies. You can get a penny for them.
Okay.
Well, is that Joe and Jenny's journey all the way from the great state of Missouri? Yep.
I think it's 6:30. Thursday.
Yeah.
They're here coming to get
Or did you tell Anthony that I'm lying?
Huh?
Yeah. You think Joe thinks it's him all the way from the great state of Missouri?
Noticed it.
Yep. We have Chantanella's vlog. Good morning to you, our new friend. How are you? Joe, I saw that there's a freeze warning back in Missouri and Arkansas. You got the heater on? Just so you know, it's like 85 degrees here. We have the air conditioner on. Just on a chair. Need to clean my glasses. I can't see. You are no.
Hey, girls, stop. Look, somebody's working up.
That's our wiener dog still adjusting. Chantella tells us that she, huh?
There's a construction behind you. That's what they're barking.
Yeah. Yeah, we made it safe to Cebu last night. We got in, Chantella, we got in about midnight. We're glad you're doing well today. And we're very happy to meet you. But hey, there's Ken Unger. We made it over, Ken. It was a very, very long swim. I mean, my arms are tired. I just flew in, you know. So, but sorry about the dogs. The girls are still nervous. So our dogs are kind of nervous because the hotel room echoes a lot, and there's noise everywhere, and they're not used to that. Hello, Lady Coach Explorers. Good to see you. We appreciate everything that you do and your groups. You know, you have a wonderful platform and you help a lot of people. So if you guys don't know Lady Coach, make sure that you get to know her. Yeah, so we made it. We actually arrived. What time did we arrive?
Close to 10, quarter to 10.
We arrived about 9:30, 9:45 here
Yeah.
into the Philippines.
But there's
But we didn't get to the hotel until midnight. It took us quite a while to get processed.
Yeah, because there's a swab test.
You know, so
There's
and we're going to do a couple little videos on the drama that we had to go through, so you guys know detail by detail what we went through. Lorelai will do one because I let Lorelai handle all the business side of things. And then, of course, let me. Here's our StreamYard link. If anybody would like to come up in the panel, you're more than welcome to. But Lorelai handled all the kind of the business side of things. We thought that would make things go by faster and easier because she's very good at the documentation process. So she's going to talk about all of that good stuff. But overall, the trip over really wasn't a big deal. What we did is we flew from our home state to Los Angeles, spent the night, and then out of Los Angeles, we got up and headed to Cebu from there, directly from Los Angeles on the flight. So, Lady Coach, thank you very much for that. We greatly need the likes and the shares and the love and all that good stuff. So I think what took us the longest was getting through LAX, the process there with our dogs. We actually came there like 6 hours early, and it took every bit of the 6 hours to get checked through. So, but yeah, so my arms are tired from flying in. So it's an old joke. So now we're in our quarantine facility. I would open the drapes. That's a big condo or something being built behind us. But if I open the drapes, the sun comes in and blinds us. So, but that's what's being built there. There's a really, you guys will like this. A really awesome, beautiful swimming pool directly below us that we can't go to. So, but it's really nice. You can see it from the window, look down, just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous swimming pool, but you know, we get to stay in, and Lorelai's going to do a quick tour of the room and put that up. You know, it's a mess right now, but you know, we'll try to give you a little quick tour of our little studio hotel room. I don't remember how much we're paying for this. It's probably like $10 million a night or something, or you know,
it's 35 to 4,000.
35,000.
No, 3,500 to 4,000 pesos.
So under 4,000 pesos apparently for the hotel room. But
there's a kitchen on it.
But it has a kitchenette, and it's pet friendly, or at least they let us keep our dogs here. I don't know how friendly it really is for dogs, but at least they let us keep us going here. So that's what we've been up to this morning so far. We haven't got anything else accomplished because there's nothing else we can do. We can't leave the building. We can't leave our hotel room. We I should have. I should have done that. I should have somehow showed you the prison food. How can I do that? The hotel that we chose, apparently the package we chose, give us one meal, I guess, worth 300 pesos. So, gosh, and I took a picture of it on my iPhone. I don't know if you guys can see this very well, maybe, but here's our prison. This is what I'm calling our prison food. There you go. So you get a thing of rice, a hard-boiled egg, like prison, not that I've ever been, a tiny brownie, and some, Lorelai says it's kind of like bacon. Casino pork.
Yeah.
Here, maybe that.
But not it's so bacon.
I mean, it didn't taste horrible.
Like a barbecue.
I just thought, you know, it kind of reminded me of when I've had friends who spent time in prison who've explained to me the food. Oh, where's that menu? You have that menu? I'm going to share some costs with you.
This international food.
Yeah. So here at the hotel, and this will kill some time and make us laugh a little. But first, guys, here, you know you're in the Philippines when your air conditioner comes with a remote. You need to get some air going on in this place. If I'm smart enough to use it. There. Here's a menu from the hotel. Give us. Now, luckily, a Yank in the Philippines, we appreciate you. Jet lag? No, you know, man, not really.
We don't sleep in the airplanes.
No, I mean, we flew in and we see my arms are tired there.
The airplane is not full, that's why we have them.
We got in around midnight. We slept a few hours. We're up and about now. It feels like a normal day to me. The really cool thing was the airline was not booked at all. I mean, there was empty seats everywhere. There was empty. I mean, it was just everywhere. So it wasn't crowded or noisy. And you know what? I'll tell you, we flew. In case you guys didn't know, we flew Philippine Air because they're flying directly from Los Angeles to Cebu. And I'm going to tell you, because we've flown Korean Air a lot. I was actually impressed that Philippine Air was pretty decent. It was not Korean Air by any stretch, but their food was pretty good. It was all right, you know. Yeah, I know we're supposed to turn off the ACs when you leave, but uh, Mr. Yank, I was telling everybody a little bit ago that uh, we have an absolutely wonderful, beautiful pool at this hotel, but we'll never see it. We just get to watch it out the window because we are definitely locked in here. Uh, I do believe they have a guard on each end of the hallway or a hall monitor. They have a hall monitor that is monitoring this floor of us as quarantined people. So that's kind of cool. So hello, Scott, expat in the Philippines. Good to see you. Appreciate you. You guys all make sure you say hi to each other and reach out. And you're taking A&A Airlines from Chicago to Japan? American A? I don't know what A&A, you know what A&A is?
AA, American Airlines.
Yeah.
Hey, girls.
Hey, our girls, our dogs are still very nervous. You know,
They live in the house.
there's so much noise going on, and these rooms are all concrete, of course, and so every little thing echoes, and they think something's going on. They're still really nervous from being here, and they did okay on the trip. We're going to do some videos about how the dogs travel and the drama and the experience of it. But I was shocked they did as well as they did. So, but thank you for saying hi, Scott. Yeah, we're doing good. You know, Lorelai is milling around, playing on the iPad, and she just got done talking to her sister. You know, I was teasing everybody about the prison food that we got delivered a little bit ago. Let me show you guys a picture of the prison food. So here's and they said this was 300 pesos worth of food. So you got a ball of rice, a boiled egg, a tiny brownie about the size of a quarter, and what do you say that was? Casano? Casino, which is like bacon or pork or something. Here, let me blow that up.
It's a bacon flavor.
I thought it was dog treats for the dogs, but it tasted okay. So that's 300 pesos. That's part of our lodging here. Scott says, yummy, yummy, yummy. Yeah, you know, we did. We got in okay. And luckily, Lorelai's sister went to the store and bought all kinds of food and was able to drop it off here at the hotel. The hotel told her that, and here's Daisy. Everybody say hi to Daisy. The hotel told her that she could only come once. So she may have bought a whole lot more food than we need for the 5 days because it looks like we will be here 5 days. Right? 5 days? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So, but she brought us a whole bunch of food. So we won't be starving. We're just going to be locked in the room and with our dogs. But they gave us a menu. I want to share with you. So I can't do it. All right. So here's a menu from the hotel. What hotel we at? We're at the Citadine. Citadine. The Citadine is a military fort in the United States. This is the Citadine Hotel. So there is a big difference because about 20 years ago, the Citadine, which is a military school in the Carolinas, came to the University of Arkansas and beat the living crap out of us. So I remember exactly who that is. But anyway, I digress. And look, I've dropped the link. If anybody wants to come up and join us and visit, Right here's the link. Be happy to have you. So here's the menu at the hotel. Now, I'm going to give you some prices in pesos. And it's what, 50 pesos to the dollar, right?
Yeah.
Roughly 50 pesos to the dollar. What do we want to start with? Let's start with what they consider a international breakfast, home style. You can have your volume up, a yang in the Philippines. All right, let me see if I can talk a little louder or pull the microphone a little closer. Might have to see my big head a tiny bit more. Let's see. Yep, it looks okay. Audio. I'm double checking. Yep. And it could be my voice is a little tired, to be honest. Scott, from all the traveling. So let me get Anthony up in the window. And we'd love to have anybody come up in the window.
Get me up in the window. Hey,
Oh,
I leave on a Sunday. I'm going to take the PCR test through Walgreens. And the lady told me because you can only schedule it a week before, in advance. And she told me that it'd be best if I had it done on a Tuesday, which isn't 72 hours because Saturday, Friday, and Thursday would be my 72 hours prior to leaving. So
hold on. What test do you want to do? What is it that you're trying to schedule?
you have to get that PCR test, did you not, before you left?
No.
Yellow is only the green list will do.
No.
Well, it must be different for you.
Not at all. Hey, there's Scott hanging out with us.
I think you didn't have to, maybe because you went with the Bullock Buying deal.
Yeah, well, no, we didn't have to get
You didn't come through the airport with a One Health pass?
Yeah, but here's what the deal is. The deal is
hold up, because that information that goes on the One Health pass comes from that PCR test, does it not?
No, the One Health Pass is what you fill out.
I know that, but don't they require your PCR information on that pass?
So well, it depends on the airport you're flying into.
It might be Manila.
Because Cebu is totally different than anybody else in the Philippines.
Oh well, that Rizzuto guy, he came through Manila and he had to fill out. They require a PCR test within 72 hours of leaving, prior to you leaving. So that'd be Saturday, Friday, and Thursday. The lady, when I called Walgreens, the pharmacist told me, because just for the heck of it, I had the rapid test done just to be curious. And that came out okay. But she said, I asked the question while I was there, how far ahead? I have to have this PCR test before I leave. She recommended I do it on a Tuesday because the lab results sometimes it take a while to get back to you. So once so she figures Tuesday would be good and I would get them Friday because that One Health Pass requires the information from the PCR test.
Right. I think what you got to look at is, one, for you, by the time you get here, it's all going to change. So,
well,
but two, depending on the airport that you come in and what country you're coming from. What they were telling us at the briefing, because what you have to do, here's what we did, guys, is when we landed, they shuttle us off, they put us in a room, and they give us a rundown briefing of everything that you have to do. And here's the ifs and the ands and the buts. And what they were telling us, that test is only needed if you're coming from a green country and you don't want to go through quarantine.
Here, only the green country.
We're yellow lane right now.
Yeah.
Right. But you're misunderstanding. No matter what, you're going to be quarantined from the green country. Sorry, from the yellow country.
You're under the yellow country.
Yeah.
So you're under that. What they told us at MAC-10 International Airport is, did you come from a green country? If you came from a green country and had your PCR test, then you don't have to go to quarantine. If you didn't have a negative one of those, then you still get to go to quarantine.
Here, I will explain.
So that's what they told us last night at the airport. So we're coming from a yellow country.
Yeah.
We didn't need the test to get into the country at all
Why not?
because they don't require it.
Hold on,
Oh.
guys.
You mean, are you talking about all of the Philippines or just Cebu?
Well,
No, here.
Lorelai's going to explain it to you because she's the expert
Hi.
in it.
Aye.
Somebody say hi to Lorelai.
Hi, all of you.
Hello,
Here's the requirements. Like we're all came from, or whoever came from America. America is under on the yellow list. Then the green list. You can read some update there which country is under the green list, but mostly in United States never be in the green list. So this country need a 72 hours prior before departure of the country where they from.
Yeah.
Then they will need to be a quarantine, and they need to have a swab test when they get there upon arriving. And the yellow list, everybody, either your green list, yellow list, or red list, you need to go to that one health pass. The one health pass is your Manila, but everything will go there. So you're including your quarantine for booking quarantine, as your passport and your contact number in the Philippines, who's your relative, and after what's your home address, because they need those to verify if they check that you're living alone with not mixing to other relative. You must be alone in the house after the hotel quarantine.
They want your address that you're going to be staying at in the Philippines or where you come from.
They want both where you came from, but in the one pass
Mhm.
is they need your
Where you're residing.
your code, your confirmation code, and hotel quarantine for 5 days.
Yeah.
Then after 5 days, they want those address, the home address that you're gonna be quarantined for 4 days, because you'll be out in the hotel for 6 days. But if your house quarantine is not qualified because you're leaving for a few members, you'll be moved to ordinary hotel that you can be kept by yourself there. So all those need to be fill up in the online within 5 days before your departure. Then during the airport, when you're out before they landed, what you exactly do in the online, the one health pass, you do exactly the same inside the airplane. So we did the whole thing again, including those declaration and exactly like what on earth, why we need to do this online. So I finally understood those one, because the online that you did, the barcode, that's what they will present and showed up in the ticketing where you get your ticket. It shows there that you already booked and registered. So, and inside the airplane, they will do the same thing. So when you arrive in the airport, as soon as you get out in the gate, they will let you do the briefing, like who's the green list, who's the yellow list, and therefore. So they give you all instructions. Then you go there before you're getting your luggage. You go to testing. They will do your saliva. Then the next is your nose. Then if you cannot be called or any from the government, if
they don't call you,
they don't call you anything, it means that you're negative on that by during arrival. But after the 5 days, there's people in a medical medical people will getting in the hotel that is registered, the quarantine hotel registered by the government, that they will do your swab test, and it took like 24 to 48 hours the result. So yeah, and you need to bring your vaccine card because the quarantine is different. If you're vaccinated, it will be 5 days. If you're not vaccinated, it will be 14 days.
Yeah, I'm vaccinated.
Yeah, so we don't have a problem in there.
So what is all this? What is all this talk here about they say if you're in the green one, you don't have to do any quarantine, but if you're in the yellow, you do. Well, you know,
Yes.
I don't
If you're
understand this PCR test that's required before you leave. That is no
Yeah.
longer a requirement, or no?
Okay, listen, as of today or yesterday, what we know is this. If you're from a green country, if you take the test and you get a negative before you get here, you do not have to quarantine. Okay, if you're from a
Okay.
yellow country, you have to quarantine no matter
No
if it's
matter what.
period.
Yeah,
If you
okay, that's
don't-
me.
If you're from a
Yeah.
green country, if you're from a green country and you don't take the test, you have to quarantine for
Okay.
5. So if you get a negative and from a green, but we're not, the US is not green at the moment.
Yeah.
So it
No.
really doesn't matter.
So yeah, you don't need to be swab
Well,
there before you're flying. And the good thing is it's free now. They said
they're
they charge
No
5,000 before. Now
oh, okay. Well, they well, I'm gonna do it anyway here, but
No,
I gotta do my quarantine is 5 days because we're from a yellow lane country. I mean, that could change before I get there. In any
Yeah.
event, they
Yeah.
said that you get tested on the 5th day.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly.
So on the 5th day, I mean, if they don't have no quarantine, I'm gonna stay there 5 days anyway, just because.
Yes, it's required.
yeah.
You
Well,
cannot
yeah, I mean,
allow.
but by the time I leave, if a quarantine, if it's no longer required, then I'm going to stay there anyway because I got places to go to.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good.
But hey, if you don't have a confirmation in the hotel, you cannot get their ticket out
I
because
do.
they will. Yeah.
I even gave the hotel the address and phone number of where I had my vaccination because I'll tell you, for anybody listening, if you don't have that, they will not let you in that hotel.
Yes, and you're never let out in the country anyway. They will.
No.
Yeah.
But if you come there and you're not supposed to be there, if you don't fall under like me or you guys like me, for me, it's my wife and my child. If you come
Yeah.
there as a single guy that's engaged, when they find that out, you're not going to be allowed to stay there.
Yes, and you will not be out in the airport anyway.
Yeah, you won't get out
Yeah,
of here.
You cannot verify everything that they ask. No, you'll be going home.
Well,
Hey,
you know,
Warren,
I just think that test upon arrival is all you really should need, anyways. I mean, what's the point if I do it here and then I get there and then I got to do it again? You know,
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
what we thought. Then when we're doing the fast test, it go directly to us that you don't need a 72.
so yeah, that people's heads are swimming with all this stuff because we know, like in anything else they do there, they change their mind like the direction of the wind. You know.
Yes,
right.
exactly.
so and that's our point. Is right now we can tell you exactly what we've gone through the last few days.
But
In
That,
order,
that's
you
in
know
order
what?
to get
You know what, guys? The thing is, I could come a day after you, and I could be under a whole different set of requirements.
yes.
That's why you have to wait until the last minute to
But
figure it out.
I mean, the point of all of this is to make sure people don't spread it. You know, so if you
Yeah.
take a test when you arrive, that's showing that you're negative. You should.
yeah, Tony,
They are probably getting tired as anybody else about having to go through all of this stuff all the time.
Yeah. You know, Tony, what they said us, like, you can always update in the Philippine consulate embassy.
Oh my
They,
God, that's a nightmare.
yeah, you don't need to worry about, because in America, when you get the ticket, if you cannot present all those requirements, they will not let you get the ticket.
I got my visa stamp, but the point of Chicago, here's a situation I had with Chicago. For one, they got all these people, all these places in Los Angeles, Houston, DC. They all have different looking forms for the 9A visa application. So
Yeah,
you
but
don't know which one's which. So I picked the one from Chicago, luckily
yeah,
for me.
the smart this
Uh,
is, whatever your airline that you're going to Philippines, they will
and
verify everything that you need
yeah,
to have requirements.
you know what? I sent that priority mail on a Thursday. I got it back on Monday.
Yeah, it's been really quick. I've talked to
But,
other
Yeah,
people.
well,
Everything's going
I
quick.
I was surprised, being it was coming from them. But I tried to send them I tried to ask them questions by phone. I got put on hold, never answered. They would always, when I typed it, they'd always refer me to this other website within their thing. And then when I sent the message to Houston, they sent one back right away. It told me it was $30 because Chicago, you saw 30, 40 all over the place.
So, Scott, expat in
Yeah,
the Philippines, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, mate. We got good news today.
What is it? Tell us.
Well, Australia, Melbourne, Victoria, where we were locked down probably the longest
Yeah, in
uh,
the world.
in record. Well, we've been told we can only wear face masks in like Coles and Woolworths. Out in the street doesn't matter so much. The non-vaccine or people that have been non-vaccinated uh, can't go into places like shopping centres and that
wow.
until they get vaccinated,
Good.
um, or they can't go into non-vaccinated areas. That's it. They can't go into non-vaccinated areas, which means I can go in, but they can't, so to speak.
Right.
I'm sorry about that, but if they choose not to be vaccinated, well, seriously, I don't know what's wrong with this tick, and it's over. You know, seriously, I was in there for 5 minutes. But anyway, that's their business. I'm not going to force it down their throat. But yeah, we got some great news. We don't have to wear face masks and that now, only in shopping centres like Coles and Woolworths when we're doing our veggie shopping and food shopping. That's the only place where it's supposed to use it. But everybody else outside, face
Mm-hmm.
masks off and that. I think we're in the yellow zone. we're gonna. I've got both mine and Arlene's immunisation papers in our
Not
with our passport, because I know for a fact that when we go over New Guinea, our phones will cut out, even if we've got them on global roaming.
right.
They'll cut out because of our telecom system here. So that's why we've got all the paperwork and got to get some more apparently. So we'll be doing some more checkups and find out. We'll be going Philippine Airlines when we come back home. When that'll be, I don't know. Could be probably the end of next year. By the look of things, the way things are going, we're hoping that everything will clear up by then and we can be back to normal. We're back to normal here slightly, which is good. That's the
Good
good
news
news.
for you guys. Excellent.
But all our borders from here to, I think, New South Wales, our young kids can't go up and have their end of year up in Queensland like they used to, and neither can New South Wales for the moment, because they're still restricted there in that sort of way, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So, but other than that, that's the good news.
a big deal.
the best
Relations.
news that we've ever had all week, which was good.
Yeah.
I think there was quite a few parties last night with
Celebrating
the
it.
release of it. So,
Freedom.
I will
how are you,
excuse.
Laura Lynn?
Hi. I almost like kind of excuse because I'm gonna.
Oh, that's okay, Lang. You keep doing what you have to do, sweetie. There's no drama here.
I'm
I'm
arranging
not going
our
to be on here long.
because
I
we'll be
just popped in to say hello, just say how you got in. That's all.
yeah, because of 5 days, I'm trying to get our house and settle down what's needed there. Because, like,
Fully
we're
understand.
really like, yeah. All right. Thank you, Scott, and Anthony, and
You
Lady
too.
Warren, and Joe.
But yeah, it's Anthony was alluding to this. Things change here all the time. I mean, when
Mm.
on the
Do you-
plane, we were expecting when we got off. Well, when we got on the plane to start with from LA on the Philippine Air, we were expecting to have to wear a face shield on the plane.
Mm.
Did not have to. Sorry, the dog. Wear the face shield. We had to wear a face mask. Then
I'm
we
going to
thought,
have
okay,
to pop down, David. Sorry, mate. I've
it's
got
all
to
right.
pop down. I've got things to do
Okay.
with Mum, but I only popped in to
Take
say
care.
hello. We'll catch up again soon.
All right. We appreciate you,
And
my friend.
I'll let you get organised and packed and well, yeah.
Yeah.
Get you organised and take care. And I'll catch up with you in a couple of
All
days. See how you're going.
Good news for you guys. Take care, my friend.
Right,
Maraming salamat po. Bye. See you, Yankee in the Philippines.
right. David, did you guys have to wear masks out in public there? So I mean
Yeah.
the face
Well,
shield, the shield.
No. No.
And
Here in Cebu, we thought we were going to have to wear a face shield through the airport and everywhere.
yeah.
That just changed here very recently. So we
Mhm.
did not have to. We bought face shields, but no, we haven't even broke them out
Okay.
of the pack.
So if you were to have to use one, do they supply those at all? Do you know?
No, I think you got to buy them.
What if somebody comes over and don't have one?
Well, I'm sure they'll be happy to sell you one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because I'm staying down the street from Mall of Asia, where my first time there, you know, and
I don't
apparently,
remember seeing at MacTan International. I did not see like a little store or a kiosk where they were selling masks. There could have been one there, but we didn't see it.
David, I think that college you're talking about before was Citadel.
Citadel. There you go. That's what
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah, he didn't
Not
pronounce that like that.
Yeah,
That big.
the Citadel.
That's a military college, isn't it? Something like
in South
officers.
Carolina. That's right. They came to Arkansas and beat the crap out of us one year.
Yeah. Well, the
In football.
Razorbacks, but
Yeah.
Razorbacks haven't been in it since I think the 80s, man.
Yeah,
90s.
but now we're getting better. But yeah, so coming through the airport last night, no face shields. We wore a face mask. The interesting thing is, guys, what?
I didn't say nothing.
Oh, one thing I found interesting was even on Philippine Air, they're all wearing like medical gowns.
Oh yeah, the flight attendants.
The flight attendants, when you get off the airport, they're wearing isolation, like surgical booties,
Oh,
surgical hats, medical gowns.
yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't really know how much that's going to help you, but I guess it makes them feel better, or somebody told them to.
Yeah.
But every worker had, PPE on.
Mhm.
So I just found that kind of interesting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That it looked like we were coming to go to the hospital for an operation.
Oh, geez. Well, things, I'm all set. I had that rapid thing done. They get one like 2 hours results or something.
Yeah.
And I thought while I was there, I thought I'd do it. I was curious about taking it. So I went and done it. I did it, and then while I was sitting there, I asked them about the PCR test. I said, I leave on a Sunday in out of Chicago on the 9th or whatever. I forget the day, but
Right.
I said, well, 72 hours prior to you leaving would be Saturday, Friday, and Thursday. You know, so I asked the lady, and she went over to ask some other pharmacist, and they told me that sometimes they're behind on getting those. And I said, well, that's a requirement that I'm supposed to have.
Yeah,
And
you said you were going to go through Walgreens or somebody.
yeah, they got
We went through our medical health provider when we
well,
took it when we went on our cruise, and we got it back within 24 hours.
well, the lady. I asked them, and they told me that some of these have been taking a while to get back from the lab.
That's right.
And
That's why we went through the medical people.
I don't
Because
think I don't think getting them back from the once they're processed at the lab, I think isn't the lab the one that sends you the email?
right, but my point is, it's like Mercy Health, our healthcare provider.
Mm-hmm.
They have their own in-house laboratory. They
Oh,
process it a lot faster. Walgreens sends it to an outside laboratory source.
you know what? These guys, it's the same. From the looks of it, it's the same freaking thing. Only they jam it up your nostril further,
Yeah,
or diagnose
and
or dissect it or whatever you want to say, deeper than the
yeah,
than the
and at
rapid.
Mexican Airport, they cheek swabbed us, pretty much, and then they nasal swabbed also. And so they did
Holy
it twice.
shit, Jesus, man! And I'm gonna have to go through this again because I got to come back here. I'm sure.
I didn't find it a big deal. I've had multiple of them done. So, and they were really nice at the airport. They did their best to be gentle and kind. So,
Well,
our
then,
man Red, good to see you. Welcome to the live stream.
then I
So
guess I guess that One Health Pass is
you need it. You have to have it.
I know,
And just
but
remember,
I was gonna do one the other day, but I thought
well,
I'd better wait till I'm closer. But the address
you
is
can't do it, but you can't
Will
do
avoid.
the One Health Pass cannot be done until you're within the 5-day window of
right,
leaving to come here.
right.
So if you
Well,
do it early, it's a waste of time. They won't accept it. So it has to be done within 5 days of departure.
this is nuts, boy! I tell you.
You
You
need
know,
to
you
bring
know
your
what? The U.S. might not be in the yellow lane if they quit letting people pour over the border without even checking them. You know,
The rookie, and here's a good tip, Lorelai. This is for everybody who's going to travel, especially here. You need to make sure you bring your own ink pen.
They don't have.
There's no ink pens on the plane for you to fill out your paperwork. And same thing in the airport. They're not public ink pens. You need to bring your own ink pen.
Yeah, because of COVID.
any particular color, blue or
No,
black?
Blue or black, but you need to bring your own ink pen because there's not,
I'm carrying a filing cabinet full of papers. My
you know.
God.
Well, and that's what we did. The key was to be extremely organized and to
Oh,
be redundant.
I got every appointment notice that I printed out all of that. And when you get a prescription there, you get that label. That's how they do it for all of that stuff. So I got those, you
Right.
know. So you can't get a printout from Walgreens if you hadn't had it, processed.
Right.
And you
Well,
can't
and you
forge that
see,
unless you know a
but
pharmacist that's dirty.
what they wanted to see, guys, was they wanted to see our CDC vaccine card.
I got a white one.
Yeah, that's what they wanted to see. That's what they wanted when we came through the airport.
The problem with those when I had my shots, I find out Moderna's was the strongest one, so that shit almost killed me. But when I was having it done, the guy says, "Oh yeah, they're gonna do a different one because people are selling these on the street for $5 a piece.
That's right. And that was a big controversial thing here in the Philippines also.
But I see Amazon sells them, and I mean, what the hell is that?
Yeah, they sell the blank ones, and you're supposed. The theory is this, because we actually we know friends that have bought the yellow international ones offline, took it to their doctor, had the doctor sign it and fill it out. We got lucky when we did our yellow international ones. Our doctor actually had some.
Mm-hmm.
So we have both the white one and the yellow one.
You know what?
We did redundancy.
I got the printout from the first appointment going to it and the confirmation after it and the little white one. If I don't have enough, I don't know who would.
Right. So it's just really about redundancy, being in order, being organized, being calm, and taking it slow and easy.
That Dave or that other guy, he had his done, and he said he had all this stuff. The guy said, "You have your onward ticket?" He goes, "Yeah, right here. You want to see it?" No, that's okay.
Right, depending on which visa you're coming in on.
Well, he came in on the 9A.
Right, and so you have to have technically an onward ticket.
Yeah,
we came in on buy on, which we did not need one.
I bought mine directly. Really don't matter. I think he might have paid what I paid, but I think I paid $82 through Cebu directly. And believe me, you can get it a little cheaper, not much, but a little cheaper if you go through a travel agency.
You can, basic throwaway tickets.
But I'm throwing away $80, so I could really give a shit as long as I get there.
Yeah, sadly, this whole process, you wind up throwing away a lot of money.
Yeah, but
a lot.
I thought it would be super, even if they said you didn't have to quarantine, that I could go, to the place that I first went to. Now that I do some videos, it's all different.
Yeah.
I don't know about. I don't know about the brother-in-law wearing the dresses though, but the other one's okay.
Whatever the airline says, you need to call them because they're most updated compared to consulate.
Yeah, and Lorelai's made a good point, guys. One thing that we've learned is the airline, whatever it is that you're flying, is probably your best resource for what you need at the last moment. So knowing what the airline wants you to do is what's important, because their goal is to make money. Their goal is to get you from your country and get you successfully into this country.
I had to rebook mine because the United has a common route where this time you left Chicago, you didn't stop in San Francisco, you went straight to Hawaii and then down to Guam and Manila. And I thought, boy, for everything said and done, it's $900. I'll go a long way. What do I care?
Yeah, I think our tickets were $1,200 from Los Angeles to here.
Well, mine I paid. These guys, I don't get these guys. They have the same flight number, and I called up and I said, look, you got mine going to Narita, and you got this other one going to Hong Kong, an extra stop, and San Francisco. Well, those are different flight numbers. Okay, well, this says flight 11, so does yours. Which one's which? So I paid $1,500 for mine, and then I'm looking through there, and I see they got it for $1,100.
Well, what we found out was this: when we took American Airline from Fayetteville to Los Angeles, all right, our international airport local. I looked at when we booked our tickets. One, tickets were cheap, about $160 each, but they also had American Airline flying. They also had Alaskan Airline flying, and so since we had the dog issues, I called both trying to figure out what was the best way to go. Well, it turns out it was the exact same thing. It really wasn't Alaskan Airline. it was American Airline, and they were advertising tickets under Alaskan
Oh,
Airline,
yeah,
which
yeah,
was American Airline.
that's
So,
common.
yeah, so that was a little bit of a thing.
I took, I think my first trip on the way back, I went from Manila to Hong Kong on Cathay, and then who did I take all the way back? United all the way back from Hong Kong to Chicago.
Yeah, I'll tell you guys, and I know Scott is gonna, he's a big fan of PAL Air or Philippine Airlines. This was my first time flying them. I've always flown Korean Air, and I can't say enough about Korean Air. I mean, they may be a little pricey, but my goodness, they treat you like you're a rock star.
Oh, boy, hey,
Um,
I thought it was a new airline. Unbeknownst to me, it wasn't. Maybe they were new to flying into Terminal 3 because I picked ANA on my second trip because they flew into the terminal I was leaving from. So I didn't have to, I stayed right there. But those ladies on there, you wouldn't have never known that they had been up all those hours because they looked just as happy
right.
at the end that they did in the beginning.
And I thought Philippine Air did a great job. There was no issues. I mean, it wasn't Korean Air, but the seats were plenty big enough. We had plenty of leg room.
Hey,
the food was good.
what is are they packing in, or are they leaving room between seats on the airplane?
No. Our flight, what we found out was right now there's not enough business to pack it in. They were canceling flights and rescheduling them to try to get more people on one plane. So there are plenty of seats available. So much so that people everywhere were just laid out across the street of the street sleeping.
Maybe they're doing that on mine because I have no problems with both times I've been through San Francisco, man, it's a phenomenal airport. I love it there.
Yeah.
But
what you're going to find in January because when we got here, the talk was we got to get tourism open. We got to get tourism open. That's all we kind of heard in the airport.
We're the only airplane alive.
So you're going to find January is the slow season, or after what is it, Sinulog is the season.
Yeah.
But if they open up tourism, all of the fiancés are going to become flooding in.
Well,
So
it's going to increase it, but it isn't going to. May not be flooding it that much as you would think, but
I don't know.
Philippines can no longer sit by and watch Thailand taking in the money.
Now, I personally think that once they turn the tourism button on, airline tickets are going to skyrocket, and those planes are going to be booked full.
Well, yeah, that's the fear I got about having to come back here for some business
About 4 to 6 months.
Well, I plan on staying there till at least July. I don't want to be in here in the winter. It'll be the first time in my life I've ever been somewhere that wasn't 30 or 20 degrees in the winter,
Right.
So, but
it's what I was telling Joe of Joe and Jenny's Journey. Was I saw that we got a freeze alert in Arkansas. He lives in Missouri, which is above us.
Yeah.
And I was teasing him earlier that, it was 85 degrees here, and it's 30 degrees, where we were. So,
I tell you, I am this is my feeling on it. I'd rather seek relief from the heat than from the warmth from the cold. Because
without question.
Especially being a guy, you get to wear way less clothes, the entire time I was there, both times I wore flip-flops, which they call slippers, chanelas. I never wore shoes, so putting shoes back on felt very strange.
I thought you were going to say, being a guy, you get to see that the girls wear a whole lot less clothing. I thought that's what you were going to that statement.
No, that'll get you slapped in the.
But overall, we didn't have a lot of drama. We had good support through the airport. It took us a while, don't get me wrong, to get processed.
The-
They double checked everything. They did a great job. They were very kind. Not a big deal. It just took a while.
I was
But LAX
surprised.
took us a lot longer than the Philippines ever did.
I was so shocked to get that back when I got it, and I thought I better send. I was telling you, I better send this in case they're way behind. And I got it. They did it in one day and sent it
Yeah.
back. And I was
Well, and we were
unbelievable because it's the Philippines, so I'm expecting everything to be slow.
right.
So
We
my
were
my 59 days ends before that onward ticket does. So
right. But
now I
when we
gotta.
did our paperwork for our dogs, we actually got that back in 48 hours or less through the Philippine government also.
I think a lot of folks are extremely negative about, yeah, the Philippines runs slower, but it's accurate. And I just think you get so many people with their personal opinions, and your head's swimming, and you go on these websites and you're looking for what you need, and either you're being told the wrong, in the wrong form, maybe they're forming their sentences different, but you're going, what the heck is all this stuff? They got all these different forms, and you call the place and they don't answer. Chicago doesn't answer. I mean, they answered me once and transferred me, and I sat on there forever, so.
And that's why I always preface at things with, this is what I know that happened to Lorelai and I
Yeah,
today.
yeah.
This is what
And-
we went through. What you're going to go through in 3 months is not going to be
No,
what
no,
we
I'm leaving. I'm leaving in about, what is today? The 18th? I got
You
about a
know.
month and a half.
Yeah.
I'm, lea-
But
I'm leaving. I'm leaving on the
and let me
9th.
say this. One thing that as expats or foreigners or Westerners, over the many years, the Philippines really has had a bad reputation about hustling and misinformation, to where you could just give somebody, a little bit of extra money and they take care of things for you.
Right.
I believe that's not the case anymore.
Well,
I believe there may
a
be
little.
some of that, but it's pretty straightforward on the websites, the government. It is what it is. They're doing their best to be as legit and not hustling and getting rid of that stigma that they had 15 years ago.
Well, if a lot of people know this for a fact, if you go to a doctor there and you have an 11 a.m. appointment, he might show up at 1 p.m.
Yeah, but that's
That,
right.
but I'm in a different frame of mind because I'm retired, so I got all day. What you have to realize is, don't have any more plans to get more than one thing done in a day that has anything to do with paperwork or a medical, because it's going to take the whole day. It's just
It
that
does.
people that come from where we are, they're demanding and expect things when they expect them, and they don't realize that it's a bit different.
Well, but I think the government is getting better here.
They are.
Even the last time we were here a couple years ago, we had some things that we had to do, and Laura and I were able to get those things done pretty efficiently without having to bribe somebody. And I think they're getting better here about that concept. We can process things and get things done here and be legitimate. But now waiting on your doctor for 2 hours, hey, there's been times in America I've sat in a waiting room for 2 hours and they keep telling you, your doctor's almost here.
Yeah, your appointment's at 9, so you get there at 8:45, and then by the time you see him, it's almost an hour later, and he sees you for 6 minutes, and you're out of there.
Yeah.
Like,
And Scott's right. Scott talks about you got to check the embassy for everything and keep rechecking it, check the airlines.
What a lot of people don't do, and a lot of ones that have information that I've been watching. I forget what the lady's name is. She lives in Vegas. Philippine American Adventure, I think. She always has the updated information on what's going on. People, when you look at that, it says American Samoa. If you just lock on, you see American, you're thinking, oh, we're in green lane now. But what you just said before is what people. It should really be emphasized. This is what happened today, because
That's all.
tomorrow may very well be a whole different thing. So
Yeah.
I
And I
I
can't speak for what happens in Samoa, American Samoa, or
mm,
any other country or anything. And but having a good dialogue with everybody and their personal experiences. And for me, this platform is truly about what did you experience, not what did you hear on somebody else's channel, but what did you experience?
yeah.
How can others learn from
Well,
what you actually experienced?
I think that if you're going to have one of those informational channels like that, that you really have to emphasize that that is as of today.
Yeah,
Every single time, no matter how long, because people set their mind, they lock in, they go, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that. This is what they're doing. And and next week, somebody else is saying, no, they don't do that no more. And you're going, what?
yeah.
So,
Even when I've done videos about the 9A, about
mhm,
the 13A visa, I've taken it straight off the government website, and then I explain to you how to do it all. But then I tell you, before you go do it, you make sure that this is still the same way, because
yeah.
they can
Well,
change
they have
forms.
that JR consultants up there up where you're at.
Yeah,
Uh,
guys, here's one of my. I mean, look, here's what I think. I've been a private consultant all my life, and I
mm,
made lots of money as a private consultant. But one thing I know about the internet and about YouTube and Facebook and how people are in general, if you want to pay a private consultant, that's great.
mm,
But if you just do your own work, if you do your own research, if you open your ears and your eyes, you never need a consultant. But if you want to pay one, I think that's great. I made a lot of money as a consultant. But
yeah. Uh, I'm at this day. I can only speak for me because I'm 60 now, and before I used to have to do all that because I never had enough money to ever do anything. Have someone do it for you. But
right,
I like now, even when it comes to buying something like a bike, if it's already assembled, I'll pay the extra money to have it done.
right.
Because I don't want to be
Convenient.
bothered with it. So there's a market for everything, and for whatever way anyone wants to do it,
I
that's
agree.
the way they want to do it, and they shouldn't be um, talked about as though they're the big dumbass. But some people just prefer to have the guidance, to have somebody else do the legwork.
Yeah, and there's a key there. When I was a private consultant, for these major corporations years ago, I would tell them, say, look, you can pay me a lot of money. I'm not going to do the work for you. I will teach you what I know, and you can pay me for that, but you're going to do the work. And I do that with here. I don't want, you know this from you and I talking. I've
Mhm.
never asked anybody for a dime. I'm more than happy to share any information I have with anybody, but I'm not going to do the work for you. But
Yeah.
I'll walk you through everything I know freely, because I think that's the right thing to do.
Well,
And then you can figure out, your end of it.
and when I've done that, when I have done that, and then I converse with you after I have done it. It is before it's a monumental task in your mind, but once you do it,
Not a
um,
big deal.
once you do it, and then the other person confirms that's what it's supposed to be. Then you think about, well, gee, this wasn't as hard as I thought I made it out to be.
That's it.
You
You
know,
know, and so however you want to do it. I know there's a lot of YouTubers out there that
well,
sell dating advice and on how
I
to date a Filipina. Look, if you
I
can't figure out how to date a girl, and you need
uh
to figure out how to date,
yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. That's you know people. Well, you know what people make fun of the Pete Chicken and Rike. But I'm going to tell you, I know I don't need what they're telling me, but there are people out there that there may be a guy out there that's been married for 40 years and his wife died. He don't know nothing about nothing, and he don't have he may not have enough time left on earth to figure all this out. So there's somebody like that that could use it. Whether
Sure.
I've always said to other people, if you don't want to use it, then
Don't
don't
use
use it. Don't go on somebody's channel and say, what the hell's wrong with you taking money from, you know what? It's all
Oh,
out there.
yeah, that's not our business. That's how I look at it is, like I said, if somebody wants to pay somebody to be for consulting fees, whatever. I
Well,
just believe that all the information's out there.
yeah, it is. But I watched Brit the Philippines once when he was going through his 13A, and he was going between Naga and Legazpi, and he was going back and forth a couple times because everything they said he needed when he got there was something else.
Correct.
So there may be 10 people working in that office. He may have talked to number one person right away, and then number 6 for the rest of the information, and they came across and they missed some of it.
Well, and that's where we go with the odds. I jokingly but seriously tell people this. If you're calling the embassy, even the United States Embassy, or if I'm calling the Social Security office in the United States, I call 3 times. I try to get 3 different people and I ask them the exact same question in the exact same manner. And then if I get 2 out of the 3 same answers, then I know which way to go.
You know what? Sometimes you could have caught somebody that's handling something just right that day, and they're feeling real helpful, and they do a little extra for you. So they're not telling you that though, but that's what you expect. So when you deal with person number 3, hey, what happened? So and so said this. Now it's this. You know.
Now, we had that experience with our dogs, getting our dogs ready to come here.
Yeah.
We talked to American Airline, I don't know, 4 or 5 different times, kept getting different answers. I finally got a hold of one person who finally said, I get why you're so confused about the different answers. Let me explain to you the missing link.
There you go.
And in about 30 seconds, he had everything cleared up, and we went,
Yeah.
oh,
So,
okay.
so your mind was scattering with all these unanswered questions and thoughts, and then within a half a minute, somebody satisfies you. You know,
Yeah. They're like, let me explain it to you. Here's the missing link.
That's why I say, you know what? I know they have bad customer service all over the world, but from my experiences in all the places I've been in since I've been there, I have never had a bad one yet. You know, and I don't care if it's at a restaurant eating pizza or you're buying jewelry. It's always yes sir, this and that, and always polite and pleasant. You know, that make you feel a little bit better about going to, getting into something you've never done before.
Well, I sure would like to have some pizza now that you mentioned that.
You know, here you say, this is for instance, I went to the McDonald's in where my wife's from. Let me back that up. Here, when you go into a restaurant like Burger King and all that, they're not always all so clean, Burger King by me is the worst. So when I get over there, we go inside. It looks like the place just opened up. All the floors are clean. All the machinery you can within eyesight is immaculate. The service we have at the counter is all the same. You never get the sense that somebody's giving you an attitude. Never, where I was. And
I don't disagree.
And I always get a side of rice, and then when I was done eating, I said to my wife, I said, well, where do we put the trays? Well, over there, that's somebody's job to come get it because they don't want people getting salt and shit all over the floors.
Well, and it provides, a working environment. Don't pick up address out because that allows them to pay somebody to do it.
in the Philippines.
I have never in my life been in a place. There's one little. I think the young lady's Korean over here at an Arby's. She's just always happy and polite and all of that. I haven't really witnessed that since I got back in any place I've been to. You know.
Well, Lorelei says this, and this is a good one. Lorelei says, in the Philippines, the people want the customer to be happy.
Mhm.
In America, the worker don't want you to piss them off. So they
Yeah.
don't want the customer to piss you off. So if I'm at McDonald's and I'm working as an American, we don't want the customer pissing us off.
In the airport, just to the airport.
I was going through a drive-through yesterday, and the girl at the cashier at the first window, she asked whoever the manager was. She said, "I need some ones. You know, I'm out of ones."
Mhm.
And then the lady, and she was being polite, and then the lady came in. She said, "Oh, girl, you gotta let me know way before you get to that one." And she tried to explain that she had, and she was kind of shaking her head. She
Yeah,
was like,
yeah,
"I've asked you
it's just
twice
crazy.
now," and if the lady was giving her attitude.
Yeah,
In the airport and get mad at you, blah, 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 blah. But
yeah,
in the Philippines, oh, you just need to click this one.
yeah. And the Lorelei is saying that in the American airports that we've been to, they get mad at you when you ask too many questions or ask for help.
Yeah,
In the Philippines, it's the opposite. They
yeah.
go out of their way to answer your questions and help. And even if Lorelei asks them the same
Well,
question 24 times, they don't get mad at her. In America, they'd cut her head off.
yeah.
And throw her
Well,
away.
I went down at see Bud back in March, I think, out to
Oh, yeah,
Tennessee,
yeah, yeah.
and when I walked in, the lady says when I was leaving, I thought, oh, she had to see the e-ticket. She goes, no, just give me your license, and she put that in there, and it showed all the information.
Yep.
So I went, and she was polite, and then I had to dig the next time. I had to dig all this shit out of my bag, and I'm like, no.
Well, now, and some of you folks that have experienced America, and because I know you're from the northern part, and I'm originally from Chicago,
Mhm.
but there's a huge difference in the
Oh,
United States from the southern states
well,
to the
sure.
rest of the country. If you go down to Mississippi, Alabama,
Yeah.
parts of Florida, not all of Florida, but parts of
Mm.
Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, the Carolinas, you
Yeah.
get much more hospitable people.
So,
They like to talk. They like to
Southern
visit, but
If you've ever heard the term Southern hospitality and then you never experienced it, it's true because I used to go down every year to Florida, and me and my ex-wife would stop in Tennessee just when we got in to Chattanooga.
yeah.
Every year for 10 years, same time in the morning, same lady. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. Over here, people are looking at you at the gas station like you're going to rob you.
Oh,
Over
yeah.
there, I heard this voice say, "Hi, how y'all doing?" And I looked around, I go, "Who the hell's talking?"
Yep. I know. You get, I tell the story that when I was a little kid and we came down from Chicago, my
Mm,
mother died and we were driving in a station wagon. We got across the border here in Arkansas where my grandmother was living in Arkansas. And we
mm,
had a flat tire. And people pulled over to help, this carload of kids and a guy change a flat tire. But at the time, we didn't know that. We're rolling
mm.
up the windows, locking the damn doors because, up in Chicago, we were taught, you know, but
Yeah.
people pulled over in Arkansas just to help us change the tire.
You know what? I think it's not you say that. I thought of this radio announcer. I don't know if it was the Pettits. They married a Alan Bradley heiress here, and they built a hockey rink for free. And I don't know who the Chicago announcer was, but this guy was talking about a goalie, and you'll know what I'm talking about. This is why it's funny. He says that goalie's seen more rubber than a dead cat on the Eisenhower. I thought, And I thought to myself, yeah, sometimes you'll see an animal here and there that
Yeah,
there's so many cars drive by it, and hockey pucks are made out of rubber.
yeah, yeah.
And I was cracking up when I heard that one.
The one thing that I have to learn, like even last night coming in the Philippines, even though I have health issues, I'm still very independent. I
Yeah.
don't like a lot of assistance, and I could tell I
Oh,
almost offended a guy last night because I didn't want him to take my bag. I'm like, I can do it. Look, we got a lot of luggage. We got the dog. We got all this going on. I can help. I can, take care of things. And I could tell it offended him almost, so I let him do it.
uh,
And I don't think it's just because we're going to give them a few pesos. It's truly about their culture. So I think no matter where you travel to, whether it's Japan, America, whatever, you kind of got to understand and research what that culture, the feel of that
oh,
environment is. And you gotta kind of get into that and let them be who they are. It's like you're saying at Jollibee, they want to pick up the dishes, so they have a job to do. They have responsibility. If we take it
yeah.
away from them, then why do they need to be there?
Yeah.
So you have to kind of embrace that,
I
and that's
mean,
something that I have to improve upon.
you know what? I called up the travel agent because I had a question. I was like, hey, my back is kind of bad with the nerve canal thing. And I said, it'd be great if I could get on there because I hate when you go, I'm all the way at the back. And when you get to your seat, I don't like it when my overhead is filled with somebody else's crap. So I called them up and I said, could I get on, like boarding? Because I have my thing from the doctor for my parking placket. And he says, "Oh, you can get the wheelchair too." I said, "No, man, I can walk. It's just, I need every little bit of help I can get. That's good." Oh no, sir, don't you do this? So I don't know where and when they tell you, but now he's got me hooked up with a priority deal to wheel me right to the terminal, to the gate.
Right, and we do that. Lorelai does that for me. The problem is, it's like when we rode to LAX. You still got to get inside to find the wheelchairs, and then
Mm.
when we got inside, you had to get in the queue before they would give you any assistance, even though it's on your tickets.
Oh,
So, you know,
I didn't know how that worked because this is the first time I ever tried it because they say, oh, seniors are people with existing conditions or whatever.
right.
Come on first.
Well,
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 I never needed it before like I do now, but
That's the
um,
easy.
they're not going to come out to your Uber, with the wheelchair and help you. You're going to have to still get yourself inside the airports.
uh,
You
I,
know,
my flight leaves at like 11 o'clock in the morning, so I thought it's on a Sunday. My son he tried to get out of taking me, but it's Sunday. Go, oh, I got to work. No, it's Sunday. Okay, so I'm gonna go earlier. I mean, I
well,
could
go
get it.
early.
I could get it elsewhere, but I'm gonna be way earlier because I want to go to the currency exchange. And unlike trips of the past, I want to be ready with the pesos when I get there because on
Mhm.
my first trip, I didn't realize how many people wanted to get tipped for this, that, and the other thing. So
Well,
I could only get so much at the
well,
gate, and
well,
I
right.
didn't.
That's
And
exactly what we do.
when you've been on a you've been on a trip for 24 hours, 28 hours, you don't remember everything. And he's one guy got pissed because I gave him like I think $3 American, and so that was like what 100 and some pesos, 120 or whatever. And he was complaining, and I said, "Well, look, I wasn't ready for any of this. I just thought I'd come here. I get to go in where the seating area is and get my fiance, and we'll go." And he still complained. I thought, well, that's 120 you didn't have before you met me.
I would have said, well, you can always give it back.
He goes, $3, is that it? And I told him, and I was kind of sternly, I told him, I said, look, I've been dealing with this for a day. I'm freaking tired. Leave me alone. And the
Well,
other
and
guy,
Go ahead.
said to my wife, he said, what about mine? He goes, she said, well, your business is with him.
Right. One thing to keep in mind is that
Still
if
that
you're
that's
going to
your only
use
business.
if you're going to use pushers in the American airports, you got to tip them too.
Oh yeah,
So
that's a question I had. I thought, hey, do I got to give the guy, because
yeah,
I went in there once and they had a sky cap there, and the guy said, "Oh, you need some help?" I said, "Well, do I have to? Do I have to use?" He goes, "No." I go, "Well, then no, I don't need any help." I didn't mean to be like that, but I didn't know what they got per bag.
no, those are usually okay. When you do a sky cap who helps you with your luggage, you're
Hmm.
only talking about a buck or two a bag, depending on how much work he does.
Oh, I was thinking like some for $10 or $15 a bag.
No, it's only a buck or two a bag. Okay.
Oh, I didn't
Um,
know that.
there's Edward.
I was going to ask him,
Edward, hello from Davao City. How are you, my friend? So, but what I do is because with health issues and Lorelei,
Mhm.
this takes less stress off of Lorelei if I suck it up, even though I don't like it, and go in a wheelchair to get us through things.
Ah,
But
I
what I usually do is I pay $10 to $20, depending on how far they got to take us and how much work they do.
I'm
And go ahead.
just the thought of it embarrasses me, that I
Tell me
I
about
hope
it.
that nobody I know sees me, you know what I mean? I've never needed that ever before in my life, but
Well, what bugs me is I always look and go, I know there's people that could use this that are worse than me.
oh sure. Yeah.
That's what bugs me. And Lorelai doesn't get that. I look around and
No,
go,
but
hey,
you cannot walk.
that little old lady or that person, you could use this a whole lot more than
Hey,
me. And I don't know.
I went off on a couple of these older guys once when you can sit up the front if you're a senior or you have a disability or whatever. And I picked up this guy that I think, when I first started, he probably lived about 3 more years after first saw him. He was an older guy, real old guy in bad shape. I mean, he had his walker and he was just shaking, like real bad. And he got on my bus and I turned, and I saw these guys just sitting there. And I said, "Hey, one of you guys want to give up that seat for this guy?" And
Right.
one guy says, he says, "Well, I'm handicapped." I said, "I'm talking about physically, not mentally, you know." And that guy pissed me off so bad. I said, "Look at him." And he
Yeah.
kept saying to me, "Oh, it's okay." I said, "No, no, that ain't. You're gonna be sitting in one of these. This is baloney. Don't I mean, they can see this guy and they can't get up for him. You know what I
Right.
mean? Even if you have a little like aching back like me, I'll get up. That's the way I am. When I see a
Edward,
guy,
how are you? Hey, Edward, I was telling everybody that my arms are really tired because we just flew in last night.
yeah, a little Henny Youngman joke there.
But that's what we do. So I feel bad about it too. I'm trying to get better at it, but my ankle was so bad in Florida that we rented a three-wheeled cart to go fishing with and to
Oh,
run around Florida and go to the Epcot Center and all those places. So I was
huh?
driving a little scooter, and I'm just like, oh my God, what has my life turned into? You know,
People that are out there, or anybody listening, when you look up, when you see the baggage and they said you're allowed 50 pounds. I
it's a
think
lot of weight.
even Philippine Airlines is 70, but for my story it was 50 pounds domestic.
Right.
Once you get one, and then the carry-on was 7 pounds, I think, or no, that's 7 kilograms, 15 pounds, something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, and what they don't tell you is when you get on one of those domestic smaller planes, the turboprop type, that 50 pounds no longer applies. That you're not
Yeah.
allowed 50. You have to pay a fine. I paid an extra both ways. I think $50. That was in 2013. because my
Yeah.
bags were overweight. The one I had the 50 pounds in was the limit on that one for domestic, I think, was 32, maybe.
Yeah, probably 30, 35.
Yeah, it was low, but I didn't know
Inspired,
that.
Pat, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing great. Good to see you here in the Philippines.
Yep. Cebu is right outside our window, if you can't tell. I was telling everybody that there's an absolutely beautiful, wonderful, beautiful looking swimming pool at the bottom of the hotel that we won't get to use.
Why not?
Got to concentrate on the positives.
That's right. So, but we're here. We're here. We made it, and our dogs made it, which was a huge ordeal for us. So we're very happy to be here. My wife,
Congratulations. My wife just asked me at breakfast if the dogs made it too, and I said, I'm not sure. I'll have to find out.
it's one of those things that stress me out beyond belief, to be honest, because they're my dogs. And of course, we paid more for the dogs to get here than Lorelai and I paid for all of our stuff. So the dogs cost more money. But yeah, they made it just fine.
That's
Man.
good news. Good news.
Yeah, it
Who
is. And
takes them for a walk while you're there? What about their shit and their piss?
we don't at this place, nobody's offered, and we're trying to figure that out. We just got here last night. The dogs are doing okay. So, and we got, what do you want to say? How do I want to say this? Facilities kind of inside the room set up,
Okay, yeah, okay.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we're hoping to hire somebody or pay a little bit for somebody to come up and take care of the dogs a little bit. So
I asked that because when I had a house, one of my houses, my dad comes over with their dog, and I know dogs are, when they're in a strange place, they might, be prone to
do.
pissing all over. So
Yeah.
so the
And ours
dog
are-
does. The dog does, and I told my dad, I said, "Get that dog out of here." My dad looked at me like he looked more mad about that than he ever did anything I ever did. And what I'm saying is, you don't do that. You just don't do that.
I agree.
It,
Our dogs are a little nervous, to be honest, but they
Yeah.
travel. They're stressed.
and then they all sit there, and I'm the one to clean this shit up.
Yeah.
I'm a dog lover, but about being
So,
respectful.
so inspired, we had a pretty easy way through the airport. We didn't have a lot. Here's the dog, by the way. We didn't have a lot of drama. Didn't have to do the face shields. So I think it was probably a little bit easier than what you went through a few months ago. And I think in a few months it's going to be even easier.
Yeah, I agree. It looks like things are going to slowly get a little easier, as long as that fifth or sixth wave from Europe doesn't come our way. But yeah, today we're heading off to look in the neighborhood where we're looking to possibly buy a house that's already been built from someone for 4 million pesos. But we want to go
Nice.
speak with the neighbors and ask if there's any problems, issues, flooding, any commercial zone stuff about to build, and that's why they want to move, and just see if we can get any intelligence behind it before we make the deal. So you can hire real estate agents the same way you can in the U.S. to do any of that stuff.
Or putting a road directly in front of your front door.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a list of properties that as soon as we get free, we have lined up that we're going to go visit and look at so that we can build a house on a piece of property. Is we're thinking about doing. Lorelai would like to build her own house, so we've already got some properties lined up with a real estate agent, and I'll be asking many thousands of questions.
Yeah. Good luck with it. I'll share anything I learned.
Yeah, which is appreciated. I mean, sharing of information. We looked at, guys. We actually were thinking really hard about buying a rental property while we're back in the United States. so that when we got here, we could just go rent. We could go stay in our own little rental house, and then when we moved, when we built the other house, we would just transition and keep it as a rental property. Well, on Mactan Island is what we were thinking, these little houses close to the third bridge. And okay, so we almost did that. The problem came in since I didn't have a Philippine bank account all set up already, that they wanted me to wire transfer them the payment, the whole payment, the price of the house. And I told Laurel, I said, I just can't do that. I don't know these people, never met them. I never met this developer. There's no way in hell I'm sending them $30,000.
Oh, no.
So we scrapped that for a while.
That was a good idea. Good idea. Caution, be careful. So I'll be happy to share anything we find out, but I'm getting ready to head out the door. But I wanted to say hello and welcome. And, if you need anything, now we're on the same time zone, or you just want to, is this a normal electric bill? Is this a normal water bill? What do you think? This LTO said this to me or that. I'm happy to give you my experiences.
Which we greatly appreciate, my friend. We appreciate you more than you know.
All right. God bless you all. See you later.
All right. Take care, friend. He's a good guy to know. Smart guy to know.
Well, I'd say one good thing out of this pandemic has been meeting who I've met, because I thought when I get to retirement, I would, I'd get to do like everybody else, be leisurely, But if it weren't for all the people, for good or bad, that I met on this YouTube thing, I forget even how I even got started. But it wouldn't have been for all that, man, I really don't know where I'd be right now, honestly.
Well, it's been invaluable, and I think I've told you, how I learned. One of the methods that one of my learning methods is I try to teach, and so when I teach, I learn, and that means for me, I do research and I study and I try to figure out what I know and don't know, and and that helps me. Go from there is what works well for me.
I had some guy the other day on this lady's that information stuff, and I was saying the things I knew, and then he was saying, and then he'd be and he put down me. He's telling me all this stuff. I said, look, I've done this. I've done this too. And I got this, 10 kids and 22 grandchildren, all this other crap. And I was like, you know what? He says, well, not everybody knows that. Well, then don't direct it at me, because I don't know you. Right. The way he was doing it was making it sound like I had no idea as to what I was doing.
Well, I think you know what you're doing.
I know. I do. I mean, I know some things about the Philippines. I've been there enough.
Right.
But this guy kept going and directing all these responses to me. I told them, I said, in case anybody knows, they got different 9A visa forms all over the country. So I don't know which one's which. Good luck figuring it out, And then he started giving me crap about that. I'm like, I'm only telling people that may be listening that have never experienced it before. This is my experience,
Well, but it's accurate. They do have different forms at every consulate.
Well, they don't, to my knowledge, they don't openly tell you that. They just have them there,
No, the key to it is, I don't think it really matters. It depends on your consulate.
Well,
if you're us for Houston doesn't care that theirs is different than Chicago's. They're just like, just send me mine. I don't care.
Yeah, well, we know that now, but like if you base on what you know here, okay, there's a 1099 form. It isn't any different anywhere in the country. It's the same form, but at least instead of finding out the hard way, and I try to let people know of mine, so when they get into it, if they haven't already, that this is why these are different, because this is the way
Yeah.
they do it. Why they do that, who knows, but that's the way they do it. That's all you got to know. So that was
Yeah.
my experience. So somebody else doesn't have to come along. There'd be one person or 100, and right off the bat, they've never done it before. They're nervous. They start getting it together. Okay, well, here's some facts that are being presented to them. I'm not telling them it'll guarantee them anything. I'm just telling them what I did.
That's
Like
it.
you were,
That's
like you were,
all we-
like you were telling me. Your experience is different than the Phillips that the Rizzuto guy. Yours is different. When he came in, they just shortened the quarantine from, is it 10 days to 5, something like that.
Right.
But they did that the day he got there, because they told him, "Oh, you overbooked, by a day or whatever." So they gave him
Well,
back
I
the
think
difference.
the real key thing, people got to keep in mind is this: it's always changing, but it's doable.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
that should be the basic. It's always changing, but it
yeah.
is doable. So
Yeah.
you can make it happen. It's just not super easy like it used to be.
Yeah.
Before we would just catch a plane and
Yeah.
be here for 20 days
Yeah.
without any issues. But now there are issues and systems in place that you got to go through, hurdles you got to jump. And if you embrace that, if you're married or in one of those categories that's allowed to come here, then it's really not that big of a deal.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. I mean, this friend of mine that I know, you know him too, but he said, "Well, so and so just came back there from there with his wife. They came and went." Well, dude, that's for that stamp, the buying one, the courtesy one. They don't even have to really give you that if they don't want to, and
Right.
it's courtesy. If you're gonna act like an a-hole, they're not gonna give it to you. But
Yeah, the key is no
but
country
but
has to
but
keep
what
paying.
he's saying is, if I spend $1,000 to fly my wife back here, then we both, then I got to spend another $4,000 or $5,000, when it's a lot cheaper to go through the headaches I did with this process and the papers.
Yeah.
But you don't get that part. Oh, hell yeah,
Right.
I'd like to do that. I mean, if I had a ton of cash, I'd have had her come back, and then
Right.
then I would have had to get another $1,000 ticket. So that's 2 on her, and 15 on me, 1,500 on me.
Right.
So $3,500 just for that.
No, and all of that adds up. And I think that is something, we did. We had to really evaluate how to best utilize the funds to get the maximum amount out of, so that we're not wasting money, because nobody ever wants to waste money. Wasting money is a bad thing.
Nah,
And
yeah.
for anybody else who's on a 9A or
Well,
the SSRV and all these other visas that are allowable, because tourist visas still are not allowed, that you got to figure out what works best for you and your budget.
yeah. I think personally, I think they're gonna. They kind of left it. The wording of it's different. When you get a visa now, see people here. All you need is a passport. Over there, it's a passport and a visa.
Right.
They're two
Right.
different things. Well, I didn't know. I didn't. Because, like you said, you just leave out of here with one, and you get granted a 30-day right away. But I
Yeah.
think that they're gonna get back to that someday, because it's gonna cost them, a little more money. I mean, they're gonna lose a little more money by having it that way. They're gonna
I
look.
think
They're gonna
by
look.
springtime it will be back to normal over here. I
They're
think it'll be March or April.
they're gonna look at figures between, okay, this the way we used to do it and the way we do it now. We might
Right.
have a little bit of a peak because lots of folks have fiancés
Oh,
there.
well,
Yeah. So
and you got a lot of. I mean, I don't know. On the plane last night, there was only, I don't know, I would say 3 other white guys on the plane. The rest of it was full of non-white guys. So a lot of it was probably OFWs coming home.
Yeah.
And there was several older married couples that were returning, Filipino couples is what we found. Quite a few couples. Maybe they were coming home for the holidays.
No, there's 4 balikbayan like you.
Right.
There's 3 single foreigners.
Yeah, there was 3 single ones, but they were on these special retirement visas.
Okay.
So there was 3 other guys
Yeah, and
that
there's
was
a-
not on
We're
balikbayans.
4 couple.
I-
Foreigners.
I got a couple options with that too. Well, you got to get this one. If your wife dies, then you got to, I'm not thinking that way.
Well, you got to just get what's best for you and what works.
Yeah, I mean, if I have a permanent resident, I think the people that had a problem getting back over there before were the retirement visa holders, where they were telling them no, and they had to turn some away. But if I have the 13A, I'm permanent resident. I can't get turned away.
Right. So I think
But-
that works. It's just it's
I
crazy.
always plan for the worst, and if it turns out different, then great. But at least I'm covered. I've always liked to do that, no matter what I do. I never
Plan for
go.
the worst, hope for the
I never
best.
really do anything without a plan B.
Yeah, you got to have a plan B. You got to have a plan B.
You know.
And you get to that point where in your planning stages that you either got to go one way or the other. It's kind of like I told somebody the other day when we're down in Florida hanging out. Either it's time to either crap or get off the pot.
Yeah.
And you either got to bite the bullet and make it happen or not. One of the two. For good or bad.
Even
No matter how it works out, for good or bad, you got to do something.
that Rick, they got that guy on PBS. They have him on, Rick Stevens. He goes throughout all Europe, all over the world, and all that. Yeah, he had a little seminar. I was on TV, and he said, "Yeah, I've been taken before, but you've learned from it. I mean, everybody at one time or another that flies internationally has been a sucker to something, But I'm aware now. I'm more at my age than I was at 25. I mean,
Right. No, the balikbayan visa is still allowed. That's what we came over on. So we came over on that. That's the only way Walleye and I were able to come back.
their way of handling that, it's kind of messed up, because if you're an OFW, you don't have to do this. I think if you've had a vaccine, you just come right in. There's no
You're from
different.
a green
I'm
country.
I'm no different. I'm fully vaccinated, and so are other people.
No. No matter if it's an OFW or not, they follow the same rules.
I had this friend of mine the other day tell me she didn't have to do that. I'm like, oh, okay.
Well,
OFWs in the Middle East.
it depends on if it's from a green country or not. It's
Oh
all
yeah,
about
okay, yeah. She's coming from Hong Kong, so
so
I
if
think
it's a green country.
I think this is the president's attitude about being denied because his paperwork wasn't in order when he got refused a visa here. I think it goes way back to that.
Yeah, there's a lot of back drama in that. But
Well,
I think, our process really wasn't that bad.
Yeah, they have a briefing there on that. That's what
I
they
don't
said.
know that it had to have been seriously missing something for them to say no way, you can't come in. Just as well as anybody else. I don't know. Maybe
Well,
maybe
yeah, I don't know. With diplomatic status, who knows what happened with the drama of it.
well, they
And
don't.
it could have been the fact that they didn't want to let in certain members of his party because it's kind of like, our friends from Australia and New Zealand, right? If you've been convicted of a crime and spent more than 12 months in jail, you can't get into New Zealand and Australia. So maybe there's some issues, like that. And then, of course, in the Philippine side of things, that if you're on the blacklist, if you've been known to badmouth the Philippine government, well, you're not getting your happy butt in here either, no matter where you're from.
You know what gets me? That I tell you this little story about this guy, and I ain't gonna say who it is because you might have heard. But this guy is a foreigner living there. You know, his wife has a 13A, and he makes accusations about this other guy's girlfriend that she's
Oh,
doing that she's sleeping with this cop,
hello, Eric.
and and for one, it ain't any of his business what she does,
I agree.
and number two, that's the kind of place that you could disappear and nobody ever know. And to me, when you're a guest in that country and you're sitting there, you're bad mouth and you're making accusations. This cop has got a family, you know. I would be quaking in my boots over making those pointless, because this individual had nothing to gain from it, you
Well,
know.
and what we all know is this: the individual that is bad mouthing, the problem is the individual, not the wife or the couple. Because what a wife and couple or anybody does in their own life is their own business, you know. But the guy who wants to throw stones,
Yeah.
that's the guy that has problems.
You
And here's what they do: they
Mm,
do that in an effort so that people don't see the shit that's on them. So
mm,
when you throw crap on somebody, it's because
mm.
you're trying to hide or deflect what's really wrong with
Oh,
you
sure.
is what it is.
Well,
Hey, here's James.
what it was my theory, and I think I'm right in this assumption because this guy knows I'm right about everything. I figured him out a long, way before anybody else did. But this individual was a heavy contributor to this guy's channel. And then this girl came along that he was having a relationship with, or still is, but he started giving her some. So she was taken away from his pot that he was
Right.
getting.
That's
But
it.
but the adultery that they take that seriously over there.
Well,
When
sure.
you make an accusation to a PNP police about a PNP police
Right.
officer that's married, there's a lot of stink. I mean, a lot. You got to have balls of steel, or your stupidity is big, huge. You don't do that in a place you don't live. It's none of your business. You sit there in the background. You keep those opinions with that kind of thing to yourself
Let's
because
say hi to James, everybody. James, my friend, how are
How
you?
you doing? Good, good. How are you, David?
I am good. Lorelei is here if you want to say hi.
Hey,
Say hi.
Lorelai. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
Good,
Finally,
good,
see
good.
you.
Yeah.
Thanks for all
Good.
your help.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah. We
Anytime.
actually made it to the Philippines.
Yeah, I don't, sorry to cut in on the conversation. Yeah, I was thinking about you, and I said it's better now than never because you know how the restrictions keep going up and going down.
Yes. And that is part of the key. It's kind of like I was telling a good friend of mine back home that he was like, I called him the other day, and he's actually the guy that married us, and just think the world of him. He's a great mentor, and he's like, wow, your trip happened awful fast and quick. And I told him it did. I said we didn't actually think it would happen until after the first of the year, but things lined up. Airlines flights opened up. The one, and it just kind of all fell into pieces. So we jumped through the hoops to get it done because we didn't know if things would change in another month and everything would lock down again.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I may have to follow you and Lorelai maybe one day in God's will, to go your
Absolutely.
direction because it's from what I've seen on someone else YouTube video that built a house, they said that the Philippines will recycle you, guaranteed, if you relocated there, if you are a U.S. citizen.
What do you mean by recycle? I don't know what you mean.
Well, as far as all the stress here, you know, uh, between the United States and the way
Yeah.
things are compared
Renewed.
to yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because we plan on building a house. I gotta, in America, building a house is a very stressful thing. So,
Oh yeah.
Even
so
more, dude.
well, yeah, but I got a feeling building a house in the Philippines will be very stressful also.
Well,
Maybe for different reasons, but will be very stressful.
you'll be putting out money and not even have a single brick laid before you do that with all the architect and fees and permits and all that stuff. Maybe sand if you need to elevate the property a bit.
Yeah, yeah. We're going to be meeting
Well,
with home designers or whatever here in the next architects and engineers in the next.
yeah, my lucky for me, my wife's uncle. I think he's retired from it, but he would probably still do it for her. He'll get a day's work out of guys, believe
Yeah,
me, and so he knows the ropes. I mean, he might get more of the job done with two guys instead of four guys because that's the way he runs his ship. And another thing is, if you're going when you pay him, don't pay him by the day. Pay him once at the end of the week.
well, what we're going to do, to be honest, is we're going to hire a contractor. We're going to hire a builder and negotiate all of this and get it all legal and done.
Yeah.
Do it that way versus piecemealing it. And I know it may cost me a little bit more, but the convenience, like we talked about earlier, it's going to make me less stress to hire somebody who's going to run that project. More like suggested a while back, hey, we could just buy or rent a small little, or not rent, sorry, build a small little nipa hut on the property.
I don't know.
And I told her, the one thing you don't want is somebody with my background sitting on the piece of property watching them build my house, because it's not going to go well. It's going to be ugly because I'm too nitpicky. I know how things go. I know what but I know that building standards and construction methods are different than what I used to be an expert in. So it's not smart for me to be there every day. We'll hire somebody.
No, I'm telling you, it's not, because if you I've been in several of these model homes, and you'll sit there and you'll go, "Hey, I can see daylight in that door frame." That's just the way it is. You have that air, but I'm thinking in my mind, I'm thinking, well, if I got the air conditioner running, how come I ain't got nothing stuffed? How come people don't have nothing stuffed either side of it, or there's I can see the light underneath the door. That means that the cold air is escaping, because cold air falls.
No. And one thing I do look forward to, though, is looking at the blueprints and understanding their blueprints here, because I want to make sure the plumbing and the electrical is done the way I want it.
I don't know that. Yeah, I don't. Philip knows a thing or two about that also, Rizzardo. But I don't know if you've ever seen it on YouTube. That guy named Randy Euro. There's different these OFWs build homes, and he puts them on this channel, and then you can see in the beginning he'll show the diagram, the floor plan of the house.
Right.
And how much they pay daylight. They call rebar round bar, for whatever reason, because it's round probably. But there are several different designs, and when you click on where it says more, they'll tell you, it'll say exactly what they paid.
Yes.
So,
and we're going to try to do all of that type of stuff.
You want to have thicker howl blocks, they call them, on the outside, and the smaller ones on the inside. But also with those smaller ones, you could take them and crumble them right in your hand.
That's correct. You can.
You look at that, but look, all the natural disasters that happen, flooding, rain, typhoons, a good many of these houses, they're still standing.
No, I agree with that. I mean, and that's part of my problem is, one thing that we have to recognize as Westerners, how we build houses in the West may be really good and really outstanding, but they what's best in this environment. And that's where I'm not an expert. I'm not an expert in this environment and the resources that we have in this country. Back in the United States, I got it. I get it. But here, so I don't want to try to convince a builder, an architect, hey, it has to be done this way.
Oh,
and they're
no.
going, this guy's an idiot. This is not how we do it in this climate.
You'll end up paying more than you would have if you wouldn't have said that.
Well, but not only paying more, but getting an inferior product. Because if you use the wrong type of product in the wrong environment, your house is a piece of crap.
As you've seen, they have there are a lot of older homes that have been standing the test of time. The only thing is the maintenance and the upkeep. Or I've seen some of these subdivisions where they got all these houses right on top of each other. You got this beautiful deck you walk out onto. You got this community swimming pool and basketball court. But I see other people growing shrubbery. It looks like weeds, and it's not maintained well at all. It defeats the purpose of being in a gated community. One lady she's got flowers galore. It looks like a big weed garden in front of the house. It looks like crap.
No, and you get that everywhere. But what I'm more concerned about is building the best house at the best price for the best environment. Back in the United States, when they started using metal studs in residential building, there was a lot of climates that didn't work well. Those metal studs would condense the cool air and cause moisture to build up in the walls, and they weren't wicking the water out, and there was fungus growing. It was just a big mess. Dry-Vit in America was a really bad stucco product that caused the water to leak into the house every time it rained. So you kind of got to know what's good for your climate. And I don't know that here.
Yeah, they do that.
I'm going to be a fast learner.
I forgot that you do with pillars and supports for freeways. There's a certain way of doing it. If they don't, you'll see over the years that rebar will rust, and then you'll see it seep through the column.
Because the concrete eats rebar.
But I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. If you get one, of course you do some, ask around how many houses you built, show me some of them you built, but a lot, they know what they're doing, it's just, you got to keep in mind that it's not being done exactly how it's done here.
That's right.
And if you look, I'm telling you, if you look at it, you'll flip out. You go, what the hell is this? But
Eric is asking if we plan on building a house in the city or outside of the city. Well, to be honest, we don't really know, but we're leaning towards outside the city center a little bit, the outskirts. We're in Cebu, and we're in Cebu City currently. So, and we like Cebu City area, but maybe call 4 or 5 miles, a little bit outside the city center.
The best part. I know a guy you could, if you don't know of his channel, you can talk to him. He comes on like I don't know what time. It's like 8 p.m. his time. Chris in Cebu.
Yeah, I know Chris. Yeah,
they got a condo outside city. You can see that. Yeah, you can see.
We looked at the condo building that he purchased in.
Yeah,
when we were here in 2019. We looked at it.
Oh, you did? So you know of it.
We looked at the same condo. Yeah, not the individual condo, but the building.
All right.
But what we hope to do is to buy land and build a modest house on a little bit bigger piece of property. Probably we like the city, Eric.
Basically,
we like being close to things.
Land is a premium.
Land is a premium.
In Cebu, it is. They got another guy that does. He must have did construction. He's on that island north of Cebu. Was that Batan? Baya? It's
Maybe.
yeah, I forget the name of it, how to pronounce it, but Batayan, something like that.
Yeah, that's close. Yeah.
It's a
Yeah,
northern.
there's a lot of places you could build one huge one level house yourself.
The SIM card.
Oh, they're right here. Yeah, the key for us is we want a one-story house because just easier as you get old. The other thing for us is Lorelai and I really are not that there's anything wrong with country people, but we're just not country people.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
We're we like to go visit the country, but we don't want to live an hour from stuff. We just don't.
Yeah, but you know what? It's good to be in a place that you're not too far away from the city for going to
Hospital.
certain things. Yeah, and also you don't want to be too far out in the country to be far away from places like you want to go take Lorelai to the movie theater or
Yeah.
There
And
there
that
were
really
there
for
there
us,
are
Jay.
towns on the way up to Green Bay here, like in Fond du Lac and Appleton, that are spread out. So their blocks are like maybe a half a mile wide, but but it's spaced out, and you are never more than uh, a few minutes from
Yeah.
conveniences of supermarket, restaurants, and such like that.
Yeah, because we like to, we like to go to the movies. We actually like to go to malls. We
Mm.
actually like to go out and eat, but we also like to go to the beach and hang out. And I love to fish. So I plan on fishing quite a bit, but I don't want to be in the inner city where it takes me 2 hours to go fishing.
Uh-huh.
But we like to come into town.
Well,
But I've also told Lorelai that, in our situation, we can afford to live outside of town a little bit. Then if she really gets the hankering to go downtown Cebu, we can always just rent a hotel room for the night and come in and hang out for the day or two,
you
and
know,
then go back to the house.
you know
yeah.
what? You know what you got to remember is you have all day to do something all day. You don't have to get back at 8 p.m. because you got to go to work the next day.
Right.
Your whole
Right.
day, your whole day is a day trip. You know, like with everything but the employment that you have to go. So you don't. Nothing interrupts your day. You're doing it like you want to do it in whatever way it is.
And I didn't want to be retired at this age, but since I am, I want to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I just love to fish. But if I can hook up with people here that know how to fish here, that will teach me how they fish here, and figure out how to do that, a few times a month, I'll be really, really happy.
They throw out nets. That's
Well,
what
yeah, and I'm talking about sport fishing. I want to get there's a bunch of guys that actually sport fish like we do back in the U.S., but they do it saltwater and they do it here. And so I've gotten to know some of their channels, and I actually hope to kind of maybe link up or befriend one or two that will take me under their wing and say, "Come on,"
Yeah.
and we'll go, like we do back home.
Yeah, you're on the right track for all of that. You got it all planned out good.
Yeah, because I've shipped over all my fishing gear.
Oh.
It's going to cost us $3,000 to get our belongings here.
You see the haul they make from down in Jinsan with those tunas? Oh my God. They have that show on TV up here where they get maybe 30 grand for one tuna, depending on the weight.
What are you eating, my friend? Let's see what James is eating. What are you eating? Are you sharing?
Oh, yeah, just part of my dinner. I got takeout. I got a cheeseburger omelet and slice of tuna and some hash browns.
That sounds good.
So I'm having breakfast for dinner. You know.
There you go.
Here's
I
what,
got- I
Hey,
gotta
Dave?
get my medicine cycle different when I go there because what
Yeah.
normally I would take at 9 at night here, it'll be 9 in the morning. So
This is our hotel quarantine allotment of food. This is our quarantine food.
a Swanson
So-
TV dinner.
It's an egg, rice, a brownie, and
Mm.
what do you call that other stuff, Orla?
Casino.
Casino, which I
So
guess
that's a-
is,
That's a prepackaged.
yeah, that's our 300 peso allowance meal. So,
Oh, you know what? When they told me they were going to deliver to my room my 3 meals a day, I was envisioning this stuff like in their photos at the what do you
Look at
call it?
Look at
Little did I know that all it is packaged, you know, and I'm gonna have to like it whether I like it or not.
one of my friends who got over here earlier in the year, Edward, he showed us pictures of what they got at their place. And I asked him, I said, Edward, I didn't think you were bringing any dogs to the Philippines because I thought he was showing us dog food.
Yeah. Oh,
But we got a menu at the hotel.
you
and,
thought he was showing you dog food?
Well, I thought it was. I thought, oh, that looks like food for the dogs, and it wasn't. It was what his
Yeah.
hotel gave him for free. Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I think you're gonna drop 20 before you leave the hotel.
I don't know. Lorelai's sister went to the grocery store for us.
Oh, lucky.
And she
That's
she
good.
bought, she bought lots of food for us because they told her she could only come here and make one delivery. So she bought probably a week's worth of groceries for 5 days. So we're going to be eating like pigs
God.
while we're in the hotel.
Oh,
that's good.
We
You
have a
gotta-
lot of food.
I'm gonna be thinking about that when I'm eating my slop.
We have bananas, fresh mango, apples, oranges,
Oh,
chips, bread, sausage, pork, shrimp, pork. Did I say we have pork? We
Yeah.
have pork.
yeah.
And then of course we have, I think they got a 100-pound bag of rice. So,
100 pounds. Gee,
Oh yeah, you got to. Hey, you got to prepare for emergencies. Brownouts, earthquakes, typhoons. You name it.
oh my goodness.
yeah, so, and she bought Lorelai a bunch of seasonings to cook with. Of course, vinegar, which is disgusting.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
her
extra
sister did a good job.
extra virgin
Hey.
olive oil, deep fried.
You know what? One thing Lorelai's sister forgot to get you, David. The Red Horse beer. I haven't tried. She forgot to get.
She got it.
Oh, I spoke too
She
soon.
got it. She got it.
I'll
Yeah,
stick with the
no,
Sam Big Light.
I had one last night when I got in from the hotel. I mean, from the
Hey.
airport.
Oh, okay.
Oh, she got two different ones.
Yeah,
Oh.
that milk.
You know what I had today for the first time since I was a kid? Pabst Blue Ribbon beer. I didn't think they made that anymore, but apparently Miller brews it for them.
Now, the only thing her sister messed up on, which I'm not going to harp on, is the cheese. She
The
didn't
what?
get good cheese.
Cheese. Oh, you can't get good cheese there.
You can, but it's hard, and you got to know your cheese is. You got to be
Okay.
a cheese connoisseur. So she
David,
got a Velveeta.
David, I'm in Wisconsin.
Well, I'm talking about good cheese for the Philippines. I'm not talking about good cheese for America or Switzerland. But they do have some really good imported cheese you can get here. But she didn't understand it and which is fine because I probably needed to lay off the cheese.
Hey, it's only
She
5
got-
days anyway.
Velveeta, which is disgusting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. God.
But,
How long does it take you to get your system, your stomach to get used to the food in the Philippines. Because I'm in San Francisco, and it's like it's 15 minutes till 7. You know, it's Thursday night here. You know, I've been to some Filipino stores and restaurants, and other than, you know, Jollibee, Max's, Goldilocks, I meant the food. It doesn't agree with my stomach, you know, and I'm like, what happened? You know,
Asian spices?
I just pick and choose, you know, but I don't like vinegar at all. And so I try to stay away from the vinegary stuff. And I'm actually not a big meat eater either, which is
Well,
another bad.
good. Good for your heart.
You know, it doesn't take me that long, to be honest. Every time I've come here,
Mhm.
but then again, I grew up with Filipinos, and I've had so many events at my house over the years, long before I got married to Lorelei, with Filipino food. So I've actually been eating it for a long time.
Oh, okay.
Since I was 16, 17, 18 years old, I've known Filipinos. So I've been eating their food forever.
I just I do not like Asian spices for some reason. I'm just gonna have to, whether I like it or not, I'm gonna have to get used to it.
But I actually love Asian food. I am
You do?
a
Oh,
huge, you
I
know,
like
Japanese
Italian.
food is my favorite by far.
Like Italian and Mexican, but that's about it.
You know,
But
Yeah.
but for my high blood pressure, you know, the fish is gonna be it's gonna be nothing but beneficial for me.
as long as you don't eat stinky fish.
Yeah, no, man, I can't stand the smell of it. Me and my friends used to go smell fishing, if you know what that is. You put a net down in there, and you get them off Lake Michigan here, and the first fish you get, you bite the head off of it.
Well,
Not me.
you know, the funny thing is, a friend of mine, we were in Alabama. We took a group of us to Alabama, and they provided stinky fish like potato chips. So he kind of thought they were potato chips type, or like jerky, which I guess technically it is. But he regretted all the stinky fish he ate the next day. Let me tell you, he wasn't. His body was not happy with that
Just
stinky
tell
fish.
them. If you're worried about bacteria over there, they burn the shit out of everything. So
Yeah,
that'll help.
yeah.
Oh,
They
But-
well, yeah.
So yeah, I actually really like Asian food. I'm just not into vinegar in any way, shape,
Yeah,
or form.
I tried. You know, I tried with my wife. I took my wife out. A friend of ours from work, my work where it was, we took her out and we went to a Mexican restaurant. She didn't like their spices. She, yeah, she didn't. She didn't get any of that bloodline from the Spaniards at all.
Right.
Uh,
Mexican food is not one of Lorelei's favorites at all. She doesn't mind the
I mean,
seafood, but not the
When
real Mexican food.
I had crab one time for the first time, and I didn't know how to eat it right. And that day, I had been to the state fair and had acidy mixed drinks. And when that butter was rich that you dip it in, and that didn't agree with me later on in the evening. But
Well, greasy foods I don't like. I don't like the grease.
well, the crabs, that it's very good. It's just you dip it in this
Yeah.
butter, hot butter,
But
and it's delicious. But the only problem was it didn't agree with the acidity of the drinks I had earlier that day.
so what's
But you
everybody's
know-
favorite Filipino food then, James? Do you have a favorite Filipino food?
You know, I'm addicted to Max's Bangus Sising. I've seen a YouTube channel. It compares American snacks with Filipino snacks, and both sides try each version, and it's funny. You know, it's amazing how you can have, the differences between chicken from your country of origin versus another country. It's totally different,
Yeah.
and the same thing with the water. And I met, a lot of people from other countries. Their stomachs are like steel. They can eat just about anything, but us, it's
I have
like,
an ulcer. Oof.
yeah.
James, you could go to the local Asian store and get the snacks at those stores too.
Oh
Lorelai
no,
likes it
no.
down here.
I think they got one called, what is that called? The chips. Chippy? I think it's
Chippo.
called.
Yeah.
No, I think it's called Chippy.
Yeah, it's Chippy. Yeah. Lorelai
Mm.
and I did a food tasting contest the last time we were in the Philippines and did a video of it. So we blindfolded each other and we had all kinds of food and we were given each, the same thing to see if we could figure out what it was and whether we liked it or not. So we did a little video back in 2019 on that. I thought that was kind of fun.
You should reissue that one.
Oh, maybe I will now that we're over here.
Yeah.
I'll republish it. But yeah, it's what's the other one? Piatto chips? Those are Lorelai's favorites.
Piasco or Piac, like it looks like Picasso.
Yeah. So those
Yeah,
are. And
I
Lily
like.
likes.
Is that a Jack and Jill? Is that a brand?
Well, that's an American brand. Oh
No,
yeah.
no. I forget though. I was in outside of Naga City at this. They called it a resort, but it was anything but. But they had a little sorry store there, and they had. I was eating these snacks like crazy. It might have been them chippy ones, like what are those corn Fritos, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. Something. Yeah. The ones that get me are the ones that taste like shrimp.
Oh yeah. What they called prawns, like.
Yeah. So here's the Jack and Jill.
Yeah, I've had okay. I've had them prawns ones before.
It's actually my Jack and Jill also.
But I gotta tell you, I've
Oh.
never seen out of all the people I know, I've never seen people get more crazy over fish than Filipinos and Asians in a store.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's like they're looking at that thing like I'd be looking at a porterhouse,
Well,
My wife, when we went to the one here for the first time, she was like a mad woman. She was all over the place getting all this stuff, and I'm looking at it going, God, it looks like it's already been eaten,
yeah. The interesting thing is my the Novas are good too. My birthday is actually in a few days, so once we get
happy
out of
birthday.
hotel prison here, Lorelai is planning to have a small feast
All right. Well,
in the name of my birthday.
uh-huh.
In the name of my birthday, she's having a Filipino feast of all of her favorite foods.
Oh. The
Her
pig?
favorite-
Does that include a pig?
The pig, the whole chicken.
Oh, you're not eating that lumpia?
Lumpia?
Lumpia. I thought it was funny that she's using my birthday as an excuse to chow down.
Yeah. You gotta remember, all foods have a lot of things in common. Sugars and flour. Eating pig is like bologna, only in bigger chunks.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, how'd you gonna be there, birthday boy?
How old am I?
Hey,
50
David, I got to
something.
run.
What?
Yeah. Nice to meet you, everybody. Got to run.
You, James.
Take care, my friend.
All right.
What are you gonna be up to? 53? 54?
I don't know, to be honest.
You
I
don't
get
know.
confused.
Come on. You're younger than me.
Yes, but everybody's younger than you.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah, it's always shit. My God, 50
But-
seems like a lifetime ago.
I think I'll be 50 or 51.
Yeah, something like that. Well, anyway, you're in there. You're getting there. I don't intend on letting you pass me either. So don't get any
There you
idea.
go. Won't
Yeah.
be passing.
Well,
But yeah, so
I tell you, when when you like when I turned 60, I was like all of a sudden you're different, man. You know, you don't you think
Well,
more like
35.
it. You think more like a serious adult would, you know, and you value things, your outlook on stuff. Because now, as before, you got forever to get there, and once you get there, and you're on the other side of the hill, you know, then you start, you know,
You know,
the
when
downward.
I turned 35, that was an interesting age for
Mhm.
me. You know, you kind of shift or at least I did. I shifted at the age 35. So that I remember 35. Turning
Yeah,
50 a year or two ago wasn't no big deal, but turning
yeah.
35 was kind of like a big shift.
I hit 44, man. I don't know. Some people always said this thing about 40, but for me, it was like 43 or 44. I felt like, I don't know, some kind of
I,
plumbed
I
out.
remember when I turned 42,
Hmm.
that was a big deal because my mother died at 42,
Oh, yeah.
and we had some other relatives, you know. So in our family, if you make it past 42, you
You got
know, you're
Well,
getting
one of my grandmother's sisters, the males in her family, her sons and such, she had two husbands that died younger. They're both truck drivers, and no adult at the time lived past the age of 42. And there's one left to my knowledge, and he's got to be 70s now or something like that, 70s, 80s. But he one of the brothers it was on his 44th or 46th. He thought he had it made because he got past what their dad's age was, and
right.
he died of a massive heart attack wrestling with his kids on the floor, you know.
Yeah, I got
So
a friend who's getting ready. He's almost 85,
hmm,
and it's shockingly he can outwork most 40-year-olds at 85.
hmm.
It just blows my mind what this 85-year-old man can do. So you just never know.
I I've been taking a couple of things with the extra virgin olive oil in the morning, empty stomach, good for your arteries. But the other, I have an ulcer, and I had been doing. Matter of fact, I only had one today, but I do the apple one cup, tablespoon of apple cider vinegar with 1 cup of water. I was doing that 2 to 3 times a day, and then one where I had lemon juice, 2 tablespoons, and 2 cups of water, another apple cider vinegar, and that started getting in my gut, you know. So I don't do one at all anymore, and the other one I only do two, but I can feel it in my stomach because I take extra medicine now because of my ulcer.
Right.
And people, believe it or not, you know, if you say, "Oh, it's only your stomach," but you can die from stomach cancer. You know.
Sure. Hey, Eric, I agree with you. Those ding dong snack mitts. The last time we were here in 2019, first time I ever had those. I told Lorelai that if these things would be sold in America, it'd be a #1 hit in America. I'm talking about those are a snack that people would go bonkers over in America.
You know what I'm addicted to over there is the coffee, the choco. At a hotel I was at. I couldn't get enough of that stuff.
The what
It's
coffee?
called choco. They call it chocolate choco, short
Oh,
choco.
yeah, yeah. Okay.
And
Is it
hey,
instant
yeah,
coffee?
yeah, no. Well, there's one of those kind of like those machines you got that you put the gourmet coffee thing in. You know,
Gotcha.
I put I think it was 5 peso, and man, oh man, I liked it a lot. But now I'm a half calf person. You know, I need half caffeine. So
What's the instant coffee I like? I like the real cheap.
you don't like
Okay.
that three? You like that 3-in-1 stuff?
I do. I like it a lot. I'm trying not to drink it because I think it's bad for you. But
Well,
I like it.
I had this thing about my grandmother. One of the things my grandmother died of when she was 61, only my dad's mom. She had diabetes, so and she always put a ton of sugar, not as much as what's the name, Brando used to put in that cup of I forget that movie, it was hilarious. He put like 6 spoons in a cappuccino cup, you know, and the guy nearly choked. Matthew Broderick nearly choked on the sugar. But
Yeah.
I just had it in my mind all my life like that, so I just drank it black.
Yeah, I always, when I drink coffee, I like to have coffee added to my cream and sugar. So I like a little cream and sugar flavored coffee.
Oh, well, that's different. The movie's called The Freshman. It's funnier than heck.
Yeah.
You know, um, but I always had that thing in my mind, so that's why I always did that one. You would have thought that I would have nothing but health, wealth, and happiness, but drinking a ton of coffee is ruined my stomach. You know.
No, and that's the key. I've quit drinking those 3-in-1s because I don't think the chemicals are good for you.
Well, you watch that motivational doc on YouTube. That guy's phenomenal. He's got all these things. That's where I learned what I know now. And for a lot of us, in moderation, coffee's good for you. It opens up whatever that vein or whatever that artery to the brain and all that to help you prevent strokes. So 2 cups
I
a day.
remember as a kid, my grandmother, who was German, would drink coffee all day long. If it got cold, she would just throw it in the microwave and heat it up. If it was old, she didn't care. She just drank that old nasty coffee 24/7, no matter what.
Yeah, that ruined my stomach. Man. I can't do my stomach. The first time I had that upper GI done, the guy said to me, he says, what the heck you been putting down your throat? You know, he goes, your throat and your stomach look like shit.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it's a shame that a lot of us have to wait till we get older to
learning.
value our health more.
That's it. Well, all right, my friends. I think I've been on here 2.5 hours, so I'm going to get off of here. I just wanted to let everybody know that we made it to the Philippines. We'll be trying to do a bunch of videos and start posting a bunch of stuff from here. So, you know, we'll try to continue to catch everybody else's live streams back in the States and over in England, though. You might have to keep reminding me the times, but as I get adjusted. So
Yeah. So you don't have no problem with sleeping, huh?
no,
Oh man, I'm terrible at that.
I've never been a,
so good this morning.
I've never been a big sleeper. I just need a few hours and I'm good.
Well, I'm trying to adjust my medicines. You know what I mean? I think I'm going to have to take a day and then, you know, redo it because the stuff I took right now will put me to sleep in another hour and a half. And and over there, it'll be like it is now, 9 in the morning, something like that.
What time is it here? 11.
11.
It's 11 a.m.
Well, okay,
So
12 hours. Okay, 13 and.
All right, guys. I'm going to get off of here and we'll chat soon, everybody.
All right, have a good night, guys.
All right, take care. Good to see you, Eric. Be careful.